Hey, this is Carlos. In today's video, we'll dive into the smartest way to insulate your garage door by controlling the 3 forms of heat transfer. Today, we're tackling an essential project that will transform your garage into a more comfortable and energy-efficient space. Whether you're battling cold in the winter or trying to keep cool in the summer, insulation is key. Oh man, this is really nice. Let's start by understanding what is insulation and why it's so important. Insulation is a material or combination of materials that help us reduce the rate of heat transfer. There are 3 forms of heat transfer. Let me show you a very simplified animation on how this heat transfer will act on a garage door. Notice that the outer layer of a garage door panel is made out of steel, designed to withstand the elements and provide structural integrity. Let's take a closer look at this 3D model of a single garage door panel. Here, we can see the cross-sectional area in detail. Heat transfer primarily occurs by the form of radiation heating up the outer steel panel. Through conduction, the rest of the panel heats up from the outside to the inside of your garage. Subsequently, the inside part of the steel heats up the air molecules in immediate proximity to the panel. To make things a little bit easier to understand, conduction is when heat transfers through direct contact between solids. Convection is when heat transfers through the movement of fluids like liquids or gases. And radiation transfers through vacuum, mainly as infrared light. It cannot be blocked, but it could be redirected. Knowing each form of heat transfer helps us understand how to counter them. As mentioned before, radiation cannot be blocked, but it can be redirected. So I will use a double-layer radiant barrier with air pockets in between to reflect infrared heat. Since convection occurs through the movement of liquids and gases, we will eliminate that by adding a layer of foam, and we'll seal all air gaps with aluminum foil tape. And since conduction occurs primarily through contact with solids, any form of air pocket will be helpful here. First, we have the air pockets in between the radiant barrier. Then, we will add a small spacer in between the foam and radiant barrier to create an air cavity. Foam itself is an overall great insulator since it has air, hence it's lightweight. Based on this approach, the conclusion is that the best insulation for a garage door is a combination of radiant foil, air cavities, and foam. Implementing these 3 will address the whole heat transfer effect in your garage. First, keep in mind that these animations are not at scale. This is simply to help us visualize how things work at that level. Here the heat will be initially reflected by both radiant barriers. Conduction is inevitable at the door itself, so the air cavities and air pockets will help us control it. Since convection can only occur in liquids and gases, the foam, which is a solid, will absorb the heat, keeping cool the inside of the garage door. In order to have a relative measurement, let's compare the temperatures before and after, and let's compare the inside temperature with the outside. Let's take the temperature outside of the garage door. So roughly this was more or less the same spot as from the inside. And so I'm rating 102. .2. I mean, it's pretty consistent, 102.7. So for intents and purposes, it's the same temperature from the outside and inside. As a funny note, check out my temperature at my door handle. This could have been my garage door if the sun will hit it directly. Before we start insulating our garage door, it is crucial to give it a thorough clean. While I'm getting the garage door ready for insulation, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and keeps me motivated to bring you more great content. As of now, we have 124 subscribers, and I love your help to get this number even higher. Your support means a lot and helps the channel grow. If you're interested in replicating the same installation process for your garage door, I got you covered. All the parts and materials used in this video are listed in the description below. You will find my affiliate links there. These links don't add any extra cost to you, but they do give a little bit back to the channel. This support helps me produce more videos and share more DIY tips and projects with you. So thank you for your support. Alright, the door is clean and ready for installation. Let's get started. As it is right now, it's kind of hard to get access to the panels with these support braces getting on the way. So I'll be removing them one at a time in order to make the whole installation easier. Let's do it. There's a total of 6 braces here. I completely missed the very top one, which got in the way the moment of installing the insulation boards. You will see that in a minute. Here, I would recommend getting help from someone else just to make the process more enjoyable. It is not impossible to do it by yourself, but it goes easier and faster with a second pair of hands. Alright, before we dive into the installation, let's take a look at the materials we'll be using to insulate our garage door. First, we'll be using our measuring tape to get the individual measurements for each one of the sections here. Not all the panels or cavities will measure the same, so it is very important to get the individual measurements. So for the very top one, I'll be getting within the grooves. And this one measures basically 51 across, and then from top to bottom, this is basically 20 and a half, 23/4 maybe. So that will be our step one. Our second step is to transfer those measurements into the radiant barrier. I won't bother you with all the repetitive cuts, but let me show you how I handle one of them. I will even show you a closer look to the air pockets. Some nice air pockets. Cool. Now let's go and test this out. So let's begin with this. I'm just gonna simply try to put it in. I'll get a little bit of piece of tape just to try to keep it in place without moving it. It's not bad. All right, one down, many more to go. Now that I have installed the top row of the radiant barrier, I need to check for clearance. I'm reading 1.5 inches between the radiant barrier and the inside part of the lip. Out of curiosity, let's check what's the temperature right now. So here at the bottom, I'm reading 101.3, 101.1. Up here, 95.9. So let me just show you a quick demo on how I cut these boards. I basically make 2 marks and then I just simply connect them with a ruler. Nothing fancy. And then I try not to move the ruler at this point, and the line is just in case. Take my blade, extend the blade, and make 2 passes. That's it. So something that I just found out, there's all the, self-tapping screws from all the hardware that are sticking into the, channel. So I need to back them out a little bit, just enough to be able to slide in the insulation foam. So I'll do that, and then I'll try again to put the insulation. Now, I find my problem in order to install the insulation board. It wasn't that obvious, but it's actually this rail support right here, this brace. So it looks like it doesn't get in the way, but it does. So I will need to remove it as well. All right. That should give us clearance to work on the top panel. So based on how the installation went for the first panel, it was kind of hard to maneuver around, like the cavity as it is. So putting a spacer won't make things easier at all. So we will just have to stick to how it is. Now, if you notice, there's plenty of flex that indicates air trapped in between the radiant barrier and the foam. So we'll seal the edges, and we'll have to play it like this. Now that the top row is installed, we're going to proceed to tape and seal all the edges so that we could put the braces back on. Future Carlos here. I would have ended up needing 4 rolls to complete the entire door. The pain versus gain of money, time, and effort for a little extra efficiency is not worth it from a practical application. Just saying. My recommendation after going through this is to use the foil tape only where you find gaps big enough to make the foam move. The foil will keep the foam board in place and seal the gap. After the insulation was added, I readjusted the torsion spring to rebalance the garage door.
Alright, so yesterday I couldn't finish putting the braces back on the door. I was really exhausted from the heat inside the garage. Honestly, I wasn't giving any thought why it felt that way. I just wanted to finish and put everything back.
While asleep, I came up with an analogy to explain the heat inside the garage even after the insulation was installed.
Now look at this cooler. What happens if you put ice to it? I mean, it's gonna keep the ice there nice and cold for a while, right? So I primarily use this nice little cooler to get the meat off the grill. I mean, it's much nicer than a pan with a lid and keeps the meat warm. And I think that's exactly what happened yesterday when I was adding the insulation to the door. I mean, the garage was already hot and I was only keeping the garage hot as it was before. Having said that, I'm happy to report that today the garage feels really nice. I guess it got time over the night to cool off and that made a big difference. So I'll be finishing putting the braces back on the door and I'll be sealing the edge between the weather strip and the frame of the garage door from the outside. And then after that, we'll wrap it up. All right, so if we take a closer look at the weather strip right there, or the, I guess the seal, there's this gap all around the frame that, I mean, could create a potential air leak. So in theory, it's not that bad, but there are certain areas like that one, there's, I mean, a larger gap, or that one. So maybe I could add a nail and seal the gap and then just add a little bit of sealant all around the edge. So I'm gonna be cleaning up and sealing all around the frame. All right, so for the outside, let's take a measurement, just comparison from the windshield. 154.6. And now let's take a measurement from the garage door. That's how much it averaged, kind of 113.7. All right, with the installation done, now let's check the temperature on the inside of the garage. I'm reading perfectly 90. If we check at the bottom, 89.9, 90.1. I mean, went back to 90. So we can round that up to 90.
And here are the final results. Outside, the temperature is a scorching 113.7 degrees Fahrenheit, while inside the garage it is a much cooler 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This 23.7 degree difference really shows how effective our insulation is.
This project has made a huge difference in the temperature and comfort of the garage. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, put a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you for joining me in this video. Until next time, stay cool and keep creating.